Kia ora, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast here on Fitness for the Soul. It's Anthony Fong here, and today I have another very special guest coming along to chat about all things health and fitness. It's a man I've known for, well, probably over 20 years now.
It'd be
Um,
at least that.
at least that. We've known a long association through the YMCA and the Marathon Club and working together in the fitness field, helping Ken out. So by 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 now, I think I've known you, but I'm sure there's a lot of things I don't know about you, which we can talk about today as well, Ken. So love to introduce to you our marathon man, Ken Butterworth. How are you, Ken?
Good as gold. And how are you keeping?
Yeah, pretty good. Yep, yep. So got home okay tonight, and it wasn't raining, so
Oh,
uh,
it wasn't. That's good.
normal traffic on the way home. But that's Friday, so it was all
Yeah,
yeah, it's good.
just got to get used to it.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Hey, thanks for
Mm.
coming along. So I know you're a busy man, and I really appreciate your time. Um, but we're going to talk about your passion, marathons, and how you got into it, background, and just about your journey through health and fitness over the last 20, 25 years. I think we've known each other, Ken. So way back with
Mm.
YMCA when I was training there and training with you there, and you're a stalwart of the YMCA Marathon Club, and you still are. So yeah, some good memories and lots more good memories coming up as well. So
Well, I've been with the YMCA for 32 years. So,
32 years, yeah. Well, that speaks for itself. When you started there, I know you've done many marathons, which we'll talk about later on as we go through. When you started, were there many people doing marathons at that time?
there are a lot.
There
We
were.
had a membership was around about 600, and there
Okay.
was no half marathons or anything in those days. It was
Yeah.
just pure marathons.
Yeah.
Mm.
And this is in the YMCA in Grays Ave in Auckland City, which was
That's right. Yeah.
it's been
Hmm.
going for a long time. And I'd recommend them to anyone who wants to train for a half marathon, or even a 10K these days. It was I did a half marathon with you guys, and it was just great to have such experience and great leadership from you guys. It was wonderful. So yeah, personally recommend that. So Ken, take us way back to a little bit about your background. How did you get into health and fitness, or marathons, or exercise? I know you did it with cycling as well. What brought this all on for you, Ken?
Well, what brought it all on? Well, what I actually a 79-year-old or 78-year-old man, and
A
I have,
young 78-year-old.
yeah, I know, I am young, that's right. And I've actually been working at the CMP for 62 years, which
Yes.
I actually enjoy, and I am still there at the moment, trying to keep my brain working.
Well, that's
Yeah,
great.
yes, and that was that. And then for the health reasons why I took up marathons
Mhm.
was I was starting to have trouble breathing.
Right.
And then I went to the doctors, and the doctor said, "You've got pneumonia."
Oh,
So he gave me, pills or injections and everything like that. And I carried on and on and on for a couple of weeks, and I was still having trouble. So I went back there and I told him, and then he tested me again. He said, "Oh no, you're getting asthma."
right.
Well, it's completely different to
Yeah.
pneumonia.
From Ionia.
Yeah. So he said the best thing to do is to go out there and do exercises. Just go for a walk every night so I did, and I walked from one lamppost to the next. And then I thought, well, I want to get home a lot quicker. So I started to run,
Right.
from one lamppost to the next lamppost and walk one. And that's how I finished up getting my breathing and my lungs moving. Mm.
And then how did the YMCA Marathon Club come into all this for you?
Well, what actually happened, I thought, well, I'll try a half marathon under no guidance from anybody,
Yes.
because I've always heard about people doing marathons and half marathons. And I thought, well, I'll go and do the Pakuranga half marathon. And all right, I was all excited, but I was nervous as well, as anyone is when you start doing the marathon or half marathons.
Hmm.
And I got to around about the 17K mark, and I said to myself, what the hell am I doing this for? And
Reality struck.
Yeah, everything started to hit me.
Yeah.
So when I did actually finish, and I think I finished at 98 something odd minutes, which they reckon was quite a good time for a first timer.
Yes.
So the club said to me, "Would you like to join the club?"
Mm.
And I said, "No, you're too far out." But then I heard through the grapevine that there was a marathon club called the YMCA.
Mm.
And so I thought, well, give them a ring and see what happens. And that's where it actually all started.
Wow. And I know you've got lifelong friends and friendships at the club, over the years and still have. So it's an amazing story and a great club to be associated with. And like myself, being involved at the YMCA Fitness Centre, yeah, it's a great place to be involved with.
Well,
Yeah.
I did run around with you in that half marathon.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, you kept an eye on me. That's right. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. You got me over the line. So
Yeah.
that was
Well,
good.
you always get over the line when you go to the YMCA. No one has ever failed. Mm,
Wow, that's a great record to have, isn't it?
it
You know,
is, yeah.
I can see
Mm,
why because you have so many great leaders and groups going on the Sundays when you do your longer runs, and
mm,
everyone looks after each other, which is what it's all about.
mm.
So that's good.
So when I did start with the Y,
Mm,
I trained for about a year because I was too frightened to do a marathon because you
right.
don't know how long a marathon is until
Yes.
you've really ran it. So therefore, I entered the Rotorua Marathon after a year's training, and I got home in 3 hours 26. And I thought, well, that's easy, you know, because I didn't really want to push myself or anything like that.
Oh, so
But
you took it pretty conservatively, I'm sure, on the
yeah,
first one. You
that's
still
right.
got
But
3 hours, yeah.
yeah, and you don't really know how far 42K is
No.
until you actually run it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that was my first marathon.
and you
And I
got through your
enjoyed
first,
it.
yeah, it sounded like you got through it pretty well, which is great. Yeah.
But to go faster, pardon, backwards up the steps and everything, because the legs were that tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
that's good. And I know you've done many marathons, which we'll talk about a bit later now. And what was it about? Did you get this initial kind of what do you call it? Addiction to this, or after your first one, you thought, "Wow, yeah, this is for me," or did it take it 10 marathons, 5 marathons, or whatever? How did you find? Yeah, this is a good thing for me.
Well, when I did that first marathon,
Yeah.
when I took my shoes off, I said they're never going to go on my feet again.
Exactly. Yeah. Famous last words, huh?
Yeah. And then within a couple of weeks, I can do better than that.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it another go. And then I actually got addicted to it. I suppose it's like smoking or drinking, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, I found out running was better addiction than smoking or drinking.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You
Yeah,
found you found a natural way to get a good high. Yeah.
that's right. It was, yes. And I enjoyed it. And as you said, I've done 50 odd marathons and they've been all over the place, so like New York, Hawaii, and the Gold Coast, what, 6 times, and Sydney and Melbourne, and Rotorua, which is 22 times, and and Auckland 8 times, so it must be more than 50, but I just took a guess at it when I did do it. It was 50 odd then. Mm.
Oh, it's well, most people say I'm going on holiday to Hawaii for just lie on the beach. But Ken says I'm going to Hawaii to run a marathon, 42 Ks, or New York.
Well, that's what's good about it because when I did the Hawaii one,
Mm,
Honolulu one, you know, you start off all right, and I thought, well, I'm over here as a tourist attraction. Let's have a look and see what's around. So
yeah,
every time there's a park, I'll just hop over the fence and have a look around the park and get back into it again. And then later on during the run, I said, well, I'm in a marathon. I
mm.
better get going. And I still got home at 3:30, and
Oh,
after enjoying the scenery and that. Yeah. Well, that's what you do when you go away to these overseas ones, because I'm not an elite runner. I'm just
yeah,
a casual runner, and I actually enjoy it. That's why I like going overseas to see the world.
yeah, that's right. I mean, and keeping healthy at the same time is a really great way to go too. Yeah, doing a
Mm.
little bit, going for a small run, you might say, while you're over there.
Okay, yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm. But in the Honolulu one, there's a lot of Asian people over there,
yeah.
and most of them aren't runners at all. I mean, even saw a couple in their high heels, you know, sitting on the curb having a rest, and
Really?
makes you laugh, doesn't it? When you see that?
And
The
I'll
people,
just see, yes, just another, even like our Auckland Marathon, you see some quite interesting runners or sites, don't you?
oh, you
Uh,
do,
yeah,
yeah.
all sorts.
Mm.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
most probably haven't trained for it.
yeah. You probably showed by after 5 or 10 Ks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of your 50 odd marathons and counting that you've done, completed so far, what would be your most challenging marathon there, Ken?
The most challenging one will be the one in New Zealand,
Really?
down at the Ruatakas,
Ah,
over the hills, and it's actually a solo marathon. You've got to give in your predicted times, what you're going to do,
right.
and so you're out there solo, and you just hope you're going the right way.
Hmm.
And doing that one, there was that much hail and snow going on,
Oh,
and
wow.
it was really challenging trying to get through it. And I kept saying, I hope I'm going the right way, because you don't see nobody.
No, oh, it sounds like one of those outdoor adventures down the South Island, you know? Yeah, those,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah,
It's just the hail and the snow that was getting me. But,
yeah.
being a marathon runner, you can always pull through.
You got through, yeah.
Mm.
And what was your most enjoyable marathon, do you think, so far, Ken?
Well, actually, be the New York Marathon.
New York, yeah.
It's a fabulous marathon. You're not the only person on the course. You've got spectators 8 to 10 deep all the way around for the whole 42 Ks,
Hmm.
and everyone's just cheering you on all the time. It's fantastic. Mm.
Yeah,
I would actually do it again.
yeah. It sounds like
Mm.
an amazing event. Yeah, yeah, New
Mm.
York. I know we've talked about some of the marathons around the world, and I know some of your friends at the YMCA Marathon Club have done the one in China in Beijing on the
Yeah,
Great
that's the
Wall.
wall. Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
who would
China
have
Wall.
thought having a
Yeah.
marathon on the Great Wall? But there must be some amazing
Mm.
runs around the world, marathons. Yeah,
There is.
quite
And
fascinating.
that's one good thing about the Y. A lot of these people from the Y
Yeah,
always get a group, and they always go overseas to have it, challenge a marathon,
yeah.
which is good. Mm. And that's
Oh.
how I got to do these overseas marathons. Mm. Mm.
What what keeps you motivated to do marathons in this, running, walking? What keeps you going?
Just the love of doing a marathon. You
Really?
know, I just couldn't push it aside. As I said earlier on, you get addicted to it, and you
Yeah,
just love doing the marathon. Although it's a lot of pain, but
yes,
you soon get through that. And through you, I've actually got to do marathons a lot easier by using my upper body
yeah,
once my legs got tired to drive me through the pain. And
right.
that has really worked. And I thank you for doing that. Mm.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, again, and I always see when you're training that it's the way that you train is the way that you run your marathons. You're very determined, so that's a good trait to have. So it's really good.
Mm.
Um, so with all the marathon work you've done over the years, what's what do you find is there any easy part of a marathon, would you say, for people out there, or you saying there's a lot of pain,
Easy.
or does it
Well,
get easier? If you do, like you've done 20 odd Rotorua marathons. Um, some people might think doing 3 Rotorua marathons to get bored of it, but you don't get bored of this, do you? If you do the
no, you
same.
don't. No, there's always something different each time you go around. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a good sport to take up. And I
Yes.
advise everyone to take up running,
Yeah.
not even just doing marathons, half marathons. They are a good thing to do and keeps your mind working. When I do the Rotorua Marathon, when the last 10 Ks,
Yeah.
well, that's when the problem starts. So what I do, as I told you, I use the upper body, but also I use my mind. I'll
Mm.
pick a number. The next K is going to take me for 5 minutes and 41 minutes. So I
Yeah.
multiply that by miles, and by the time I get to it, well, the next K's I'm off. I've dropped a figure. I better start all over again. And the next
Oh,
K's come.
so yeah. So
Yeah,
it's really, yeah, keeping yourself occupied and giving yourself little goals maybe on the
yeah.
way.
That's
Keep you
you've got to give
motivated.
yourself a goal because
Yeah.
your legs do suffer a bit, as you know yourself, by
Yeah.
doing a half marathon.
Oh
Mm,
yeah. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. Wow. And moving on from there in more recent times, in the last 2 or 3 years, you've had some other challenges, such as your cancer diagnosis and heart complications. Can you tell me how that affected you and how you found yourself, going through this from being pretty fit, but obviously we have different challenges in our life. How did you find that as?
Well, it was very hard because the big C is a horrible word to have,
Yeah,
and was going for the chemo, and well, when I was having the chemo, it actually stuffed my heart up,
yeah,
so they had to stop the chemo and give me what they gave me a pacemaker because my heart rate was 175 at all times, and I
oh,
was AF and that and and they said, well, we'll have to stop the chemo to do a replace to put in a pacemaker,
yes,
which they did do, and I didn't like it because it hurt so much. And
yeah,
then in my mind, I thought, there goes my marathons.
exactly.
Eh, yes, and I thought that was hard to take, but then I thought, just forget about cancer and drive yourself into a marathon again. And this is what I'm trying to do now, and that's why I've got in touch with you, or you got in touch with me,
Mm,
to get me ready for my next marathon, which I
yeah,
hopefully hope to do early next year.
which is
Mm.
great. I mean, when we talked, I might have been over nearly 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. Yeah, as you said, you were going through that cancer and heart heart conditions, and yeah, it was a different mindset, wasn't it? You just had to be very cautious, and you couldn't think too far ahead at that time. But
No,
but
but once I got the word remission,
yeah,
I was up.
that's right. That's the good thing, you've come through that, and we've seen you come through that, and um, it's all green lights now. So that's wonderful here, and
Mm.
I can see that sparkle in your eye and that kind of energy's coming back. And I've seen after the last year or so, we've been training back together. Yeah, it has taken a lot out of you, but I can see that you've got lots of energy still in the tank to go. So that's a great trait to have, yeah. And I know for you and like a lot of people, as you said, you're not an elite runner, but you're pretty good. I know what year was it when you were the fastest marathon runner in your
I
age
was
group?
50. Yeah, I was 50
Yeah,
odd when I did my fastest one. I think it was 58 or something. And I
yeah.
just did it over 3 hour plus. And I thought,
I,
oh, yeah,
I remember that you showed me the letter from the what was it, the Athletic Association, or
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so
Mm.
you'd run the fastest marathon in your age group for that year, was that right? Yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I've got the medal and everything here for it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so
Mm.
yeah, when you say you're not an elite athlete, I think you're a very competitive athlete, which
Mm.
gives you that determination and drive in any situation, which is really good. Yeah.
Mm. I was then, but not now. I just go out there to do them.
So it's a slightly different mindset from when you started the marathons. When
It
you
is.
yeah
I actually like walking a marathon because when
yeah
I did walk the Rotorua Marathon, um, well, why I walked the Rotorua Marathon is because I had hip replacement
yes
and I wasn't allowed to run anymore.
mm,
And they said, well, you can walk all day if you want to, but you can't even do a marathon shuffle or anything.
mm,
But going around the Rotorua, for 21 years or so, and
yeah
the 22nd one, I had to walk. And I kept saying, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. It's all new to me. And I've been around it that many times. But when you're running, you're concentrating where your foot is going all the time.
right.
And because when you're walking, you can look around, and see scenery. I actually enjoyed walking.
So
Yeah.
you've adapted from firstly starting running, and now you've gone to a little bit of walking with your training now. So it's a total different type of training, isn't it? You might say the way you
It
train.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and
It's time as well too. It's hours you got
yes,
to put into it.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. You're walking, so it does take a lot longer. Yeah,
When
which
you
is
think you're doing a 32K run on walk on a Sunday,
yeah,
it's going to take a long time, but
yeah,
you have to do it if you want to get through a marathon.
yeah. I
Mm.
know. It was we talked today, and you mentioned you did 2 hours last Sunday, I think it was,
Yeah, that's
with the
right.
Y
Yeah,
Marathon Club. And I mean that that sounds a lot, but you're walking, you're not running, so it's still a lot. It's even
yeah, it
more when you
is.
think
Yeah,
about it. You
mm.
know, but
Yeah,
as you
yeah. As I've been pleased in the last fortnight,
yeah,
how I've actually improved now. I'm
okay,
starting to get really motivated
yep.
through you, and that's what making me put one foot forward all the time and go ahead. Mm.
Oh well, yeah. I think it really makes it easier when if all my clients were like you, Ken, who are so motivated, it'd be brilliant. And everyone's different, so and we all have different challenges when we do things. So yeah, but that's really good to see. Um, Any advice to others who may be thinking about starting running or walking marathons, half marathons? And these days, it's like the 5, 10Ks are really popular, aren't they? Within the Auckland Marathon or
Mm.
wherever. Any
Mm.
advice for anyone who's never run before, or yeah, just wants to do something?
Well, if you don't want to join the club, there's
Mm.
always plenty of 5K runs around, and we've got the 10K series at the domain.
Yes.
We should do every Wednesday. You can do the 5 or the 10K, and then if you're starting to get addicted to that, it's good to join a club to educate you how to go a bit further. Hmm. So I suggest do that, for anyone
You
that
can,
wants to start running.
you can
Hmm.
check the YMCA Marathon Club. They've got a website, haven't they? Yeah, you can check
Yeah,
it
it's
out.
got their own website, and it
Yeah.
won't be called the YMCA Marathon Club much longer.
Oh, really? Okay. Right.
With the marathon, the fitness club is actually changing its name
Oh,
or international and national. So
right.
we cannot be called the YMCA Marathon Club anymore. So we've got a meeting next week, and they're going to we got to bring up what we want to be called,
Yeah.
and also say, well, why Auckland Marathon Club? We
Right.
can use the Y, but we can't use the MCA.
Wow. Well, that's a big change.
Mm,
You
it
know.
is, yeah.
Yeah, but
Mm.
everyone knows the why. Actually, I saw a car the other day, only a few days ago, and had "Go the Y" on the back of their car sticker. You probably
Oh,
know
that
them.
must be
You
a
probably know them.
YMCA member.
Yeah. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure you'd know them. So yeah, they're everywhere. And as you said, camaraderie and when you do a marathon, whether it's here or overseas, and you're telling me many times you've heard people say as you're running along and you're getting a bit tireder, and someone just shouts out, "Go the way!" and then maybe give you a little bit of inspiration and a burst of
Yeah.
energy.
And you also get that song, the
Yeah,
YMCA song.
oh, yeah, yeah. Everyone knows that too. So
Yeah. Mm.
yeah, oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, Ken, it's been so wonderful talking about all these different events you've had over the years, and you're an inspiration to people to see that you've done over 50 marathons now, and you've gone through a few challenges,
Quite
and
a few challenges.
yeah, amongst other things, as a lot of runners do through knees and backs and joints and muscles and injuries over the years, which is pretty much part of the package, isn't it, these days?
Yeah. Well, don't talk about it. I just ignore it when I'm out there. I
So
don't feel it when I'm out there running or I'm walking. It's only when I'm idle. So I've got to do
yeah,
something. And that's the only thing I can do is go
yeah,
out there and walk. And I've got no pain,
and it's really
which is
interesting.
strange.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really interesting. The mindset, isn't it? It's like me when I don't do any exercise for 2 or 3 days. Yeah, I get a little bit irritated
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
because
You've got to get out there.
we're
Mm.
used to just doing something. I think, and mentally, it's great for us. Just the mindset to do something for the mind and do something refreshing and just go out and enjoy it, which is really good. Yeah.
Mm. Well, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
Yeah. And I'm sure you
Yeah.
got a few
Mm.
more to go under your belt too. So
There is, yes. I
yeah,
want to try and get to 25 in the Rotorua Marathon, so that's another
you're on
three more, two more. Yeah,
2 or 3 more. Yep, good. Yep,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Mm.
So
Then I'll be 81.
how talking about the Rotorua, how many people have done like 25 marathons in a row? Would
Well,
you
you
know?
got Verna Kirk.
Verna, yep, Verna from
Yeah,
Hawaii, yep.
she's did. She's up to 45 now.
Wow, yeah, we saw a video of her recently. You showed me, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
She's amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
amazing.
There'll be around about 15 from the YMCA have done over that amount. Yeah. Mm.
So very exclusive club, you know. Yeah, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a club that cares
Yeah,
and they'll get you through it. Yeah.
yep, yeah, and building up not just your training, but those relationships, friendships is really important, I think, in running. And you know, I'm sure you found that too when you
Mm.
doing something like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple of quick fire questions for you, Ken.
Oh, I won't be able to answer.
I'm sure you can. So, what's your favorite music? Tell us.
Favorite music?
Yeah.
Well, I'm old fashioned.
Yep.
I like the old songs, real old ones.
Yeah. Anyone in particular?
Well, like Cliff Richards, Adam Faith, and
Oh,
all
yeah.
the Beatles, and
Okay.
all those ones. Yeah,
Oh, it's
that
not that
era.
old. Beatles and
No,
Cliff.
within the 60s.
60s, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And favorite food?
Favorite food? All food is good to me. I
Oh,
got
that's a
no.
good
I
one.
got no. I always love food, and
Yeah.
I think you've noticed that.
Oh, you do pretty well on the food. It's pretty good, you know, in a good way. Um, any other hobbies and sports besides your running and walking, or you've had some in the past too?
Well, I love gardening, which is good relaxation,
Yep.
and then sports. I really love all sports, but mainly
Mm,
rugby league and rugby union.
yeah.
The only one I don't really like watching is golf because I
Really.
can't see the ball
Yeah.
when
That's
they hit it.
yeah. I know. We always have a good chat together about what's happening in the sports field every week, so it's always good
Mm.
to chat.
Yeah, it's good to follow all sports.
Yeah.
Mm.
And finally, it's just getting a little bit later, so I really appreciate your time, Ken. So finally, um, any words of wisdom you can pass on to anyone out there that may be watching?
Yes, get out there and do something. As long as you do a bit of exercise, 3 days a week, get out there and do it. Don't be frightened. It won't hurt you.
That's great advice. Yeah, you know, just go and do it, eh? Yeah,
Mm.
worry about just give it a go. I think that's so important now, to try things and try different things. So yeah, and you'll fall into your passion of exercise, walking, running, you know, and hopefully other people will get into their passion of whatever the exercise that they find is
Mm.
enjoyable, which is great.
And you'll help them along, won't you?
Well, you never know. You never know. Yeah. All
Mm.
right. Well, thanks again, Ken. It's been a real pleasure to have you on this Fitness for the Soul podcast. It's called The Marathon Man after yourself. And I really appreciate you coming along and spending some time to chat about your passion and your life and things that happened over the last few years. So, yeah, great to talk to you, Ken.
We got there eventually, didn't we?
Oh, well, we're going well. Yeah, and like we said this week, I was pretty happy. Yeah, how you're talking about the training this week and last week. It sounds like
Yes, as I said, I've been quite happy with the last couple of weeks.
yeah.
It's really getting me motivated now, and you pushed me. You really pushed me too hard last week, but
Well, it was
but
easy
I
to just,
always listen to you because I know that you're on
oh,
the right side.
oh, that's nice to know. Yeah. Oh well, you take care and have a great session tomorrow. Now you're out with your other friends to do a bit of walking, running. So
Yes, around Cornwall Park. Come around and join us.
that'd be nice. Yeah, yeah. Might bump
Yeah.
into all those people at 8 o'clock, isn't it? The run group. Yeah, as
Oh,
well.
the park run. Yeah.
Park
That's
run.
another
Yeah,
one they can join too.
yeah.
Park runs. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those around too, which are
There's a
pretty.
lot of them. And there'll be
It's
over 200 odd park run in the
That's
Cornwall
a
Park?
worldwide event now, isn't it, Ken?
It is a worldwide, yeah.
So you can go to any park and look it up, park run, and you can go
Yeah.
to a
Well, there's quite a few park runs in Auckland.
yeah.
We've got Western Springs as well, you know.
And
They're everywhere.
are they like all 5Ks or different
No, they're all 5Ks. They all
5K,
go
right?
stick to the 5K.
Oh, that's a nice.
And it's not allowed to be on the road at all. It's got to be in a
Yeah.
park.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And not to run on the road in the park
Yeah.
either. It's got to be done over grass and
Oh,
pathways.
okay. Oh, good. All right. Well, have a good session tomorrow, and you take
I
care.
will. I'll enjoy it because it's not going to rain.
That's the one. Yeah. All right. Thanks very much again, Ken. And
all right, then we'll have a good night. Yeah.
See
I'll
you very
see you
soon,
next
for
week.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you.
Mhm.